Yo, what is up guys? In today's video I'm going to show you how you can win every game you play in the Solo Victory Cup. I'm going to VOD review a member of our community who recently made their first earnings in the Solo Victory Cup finals to show you the strategies he used and you can use in order to win more games in both the Opens and finals. If you do enjoy today's video, please do smash that like button and also consider subscribing, as it's my goal to hit 20,000 before the end of 2025. Let's get straight on into today's video. Okay, so just quickly before we get into VOD reviewing Victor's games, I want you to meet Victor, who is the player whose gameplay we're going to be looking at today. As you guys can see, he come 3,600 in the Open and won 2 games. I'm going to be VOD reviewing for you guys this game, sharing with you his thought process and ideas, and the same with the finals where he made earnings, so you guys can do exactly the same too. Now, I would like to also say that Victor does have a YouTube channel. I will link it in the description down below and in the pinned comment. If you guys could head over there and drop a sub, we're trying to get him to 50 subs, it would be much appreciated. Without further ado, let's start VOD reviewing the games. So the first thing I want to talk about in this 3-kill win, which is last game from Opens, is his drop spot. Now, as you guys can see, he lands on this little island to the south of the map down here. Now, I'd imagine the reason why he lands down here is because, for one, there is guaranteed shield. For example, you have slurp barrels and cactus plants, meaning every single game you've got 100 shield, and then any shield which you do get from your drop, you're able to hold in your inventory in case of getting tagged, for example. The next thing is these fast farming metal. As you guys can see, around his drop is all of these little piles of metal, and it instantly allows him to get his metal up extremely quickly. He's been in the game probably less than 30 seconds. There's still 90 players up, and he's already got 500 materials. When I talk about fast farming mats in videos, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Now, also, you guys can see that there is this pad here, so when he chooses to rotate away from his drop spot, he can simply hit the pad and rotate northwards. Next, I want to bring your guys' attention to this, because this is a mistake many people make in these Solo Victory Cups. As you guys can see, it's mid-game. Victor identifies that there is a player in rig. As you guys can see, there's a player in rig, and instead of pushing in to try and get damage onto that player, immediately he just backs off. He backs off, goes in the opposite direction. You don't want to take mid-game fights in these Solo Victory Cups. It's a stupid reason to go down if you lose the fight. Okay, so now we're going to play this game where I want you guys to guess which player Victor is. So as you guys can see, there's loads of different players. Which one do you think Victor is? Okay, Victor's this player right down here in Nitro. Now, why is he here? Well, I talk about this a lot in my videos, but you guys want to rotate dead side. As you guys can see, the right hand side of the zone right here is really congested with players from Brawlers, Olympus, Grand, etc. So Victor decides to utilize this and hit the Nitro rings with the fizz effect to do a full dead side rotate. As you guys can see, he continues to go towards the dead side of zone, and look at how many little players over here. There's literally no one around him, whereas had he have rotated to the right hand side, there'd be so many players and he could have got keyed and gone down in the mid game. Now, he chooses to go deep into Storm here to get the extra bunker loot. Now, the reason why he's doing this is because he felt that his green AR and green gatekeeper coming into this wasn't good enough to win him the game. So he's going down here to secure game-winning loot, for example, getting a drum mag on his gatekeeper. A really smart decision just to tank Storm to get that extra loot that he needs. Next, I want to bring your guys' attention to a mistake that Victor actually makes in this game, but he's lucky he gets away with it. Now, Victor is this player boxed up right here in zone, and he has no idea that this player is right here. If we look, we can see this in replay mode, but there is a player in this bush. But when Victor goes to go for his rotate, so once he pops his fizz in his box and plans out his rotate, like you guys can see, you see that he is scouting, but what he forgets to do is he forgets to scout the bush. Now, in this instance, there is actually a player in this bush, and Victor has literally no idea. He's sat here getting stoned. This guy could have easily run at him, jumped him, probably even got a 100 tag, and Victor could have lost this game. If Victor loses this game right here, he wouldn't have made finals, he wouldn't have made earnings. Always check your bushes, guys. It's such an easy mistake to make, and it can just cause you to get jumped on, just like Victor could have right here. So it's time for another guess which player Victor is. Now, out of all these players on congested side, no one's on the dead side. Which one do you think Victor is? Well, Victor is this player right here, but why is he positioned here and how did he get here? Well, what he did was he popped fizz, and it allowed him to get into this really smart position. If we have a look at everyone on the congested side over here, as you guys can see, Victor went a little bit deeper. He popped fizz and he tried to go as deep as he could into this zone, meaning he is one of the deepest players. But look at everyone on the backside of the zone that Victor is just fully able to avoid. He's chilling while all of these people like AKO Malfic, for example, is getting in a fight. All of these people down here are really congested. So when it goes to the next zone, which as you guys can see, pulls far, Victor just has a free rotate and he can pop out, use the dashes, and he's able to just fully rotate free. Whereas everyone in the backside of the zone right here is so congested. If Victor was positioned here, he probably wouldn't have been able to get through this zone without getting heavily tagged. Another small quick note here is that Victor recognises there's 2 players on the layer below him, so what does he do? He goes up a layer. In this zone, you really don't want to be on the ultimate low layer because you can get griefed or W keyed much easier. I want to bring attention to this rotate as I think this is a massive mistake that people make. Now in this meta, because there is only really fizz for rotation, if you go at the front, people are going to shoot you from behind. So Victor scouts out his rotate here and realises that it's better to go late. So he pops his fizz and gets ready to go late. Now he's scouting out his rotate as you guys can see, and once he decides that he's going to go, he commits. Now these moving zones are the easiest time to get a refresh. Not that Victor needs one, but you can often end up in people's boxes. As you guys can see, Victor just focuses rotate, gets in a player's box, but he is aware. This player rotated early, so was less aware. Victor easily able to pick up a kill, instantly expands with a new box, so he has control, and picks up the refresh and has pretty much capped mats. Now Victor just used a lot of his mats to tart through the remaining zones on a high layer, but once he realises that he is able to take height because height is pretty weak, he makes the decision to go for it. As you guys can see, he pops his fizz and chops out the backside of height, which allows him then to spray down the player, as you guys can see, and then he takes height. Now the best time to take height in any endgame is the 10th zone. This is the one where if you take height, you're most likely going to win the game. As you guys can see, he takes height, he's up, and now he has control of the lobby. From here, all he has to do then, if you guys watch with the remainder of the game, is he literally can just apply pressure down with his AR. As you guys can see, he keeps his self fizz, looks for some kills on backside of zone, easily able to pick up this player here using visualized sound effects. If you're not using visualized sound effects, I don't know what you guys are doing. But from there, just continues to tarp front side, spray down with the AR. It's a very simple way just to easily get the win. Constantly applying pressure with that burst AR, constantly fizzing. It's as simple as this. There's nothing special. Once you get on height, you just have to make sure that you constantly apply pressure onto those players below you. It's such a simple thing to do. If you don't spray people and get time to get more stacked, they're going to get time to heal up and they might just push you for height, or they might have the heal off to take this game. But Victor is not giving these players a chance, so down below, one's already dropped back into Storm. This guy's going to cause no issue. Victor's got 3 medkits on height. He's chilling, and eventually that guy is just going to tick out Storm, giving Victor the win in the opens, which qualifies him through to the finals. So now let's have a look at his finals game. Okay, so now we're into the finals game that Victor won, and what immediately interests me is that he opts to land Raft. So not the same drop spot that he landed at in the opens, but again there is similarities here. One of the similarities being that the entirety of Raft has a lot of loot, so you can get really good loot. As you guys can see, he gets the crucial fizz, but it also has lots of metal. Pretty much the whole way around the Raft right here is full of metal, so Victor can easily farm that up and get capped metal. But what you have to be aware of if you're going to land Raft in finals is that you're going to be contested. And not only that, you're going to be contested by good players. This guy, Zenith Gobor, has 30,000 PR and 3,000 earns. So if you are going to land Raft, you've got to be aware that you might bump into people like Gobor who will be strong and confident fighters, so you've got to be really careful. Now, like opens, Victor always ensures that wherever he lands, he gets cap medal. If you guys want to do well this season, you've got to make sure that at your drop spot, you have the opportunity to get to 500 medal easily, like Victor is here at the Raft. Okay, so it's time for everyone's favourite game. Guess which player Victor is. Now, we know he landed Raft, and as you guys can see, there's a lot of congested side action. Well, Victor is this player over here, once again rotating dead side fully like he did in open to avoid getting key in the mid game. This is so smart, and I talk about it in all my videos. If you want to do well in solos, you've got to rotate dead side. Another quick tip which is really useful is just make sure if you are anywhere near the island, you utilize the island rift, or even box up on an island rift, because it just allows you guys a free rotation deep into the next zone. As you guys can see, Victor hits this and then goes dead side into the next zone right here. Perfect rotation. Again, similar to like what he did in the opens, on the 7th zone, he doesn't pull, and then he utilizes the fizz and the dashes. If you guys want to do this well this season, it's crucial that at some point in your loot route, you access dash water, because it's a free rotation. As you guys can see, it easily allows him to rotate deep into this 7th zone, and because he scouted his rotate, he's able to go quite deep, and now he's in a pretty solid position here to just box up and chill. And again, he does the same thing. 8th zone, pop a bit of fizz, and use his final dash. Scouting his rotate, making sure he picks the right time to go. Once he makes that decision to go, you guys will see that he literally pops his fizz straight out the top, builds up so he can get as far as he can with a dash, combines that with a fizz slide, and boom. He's deep into the 8th zone here. A perfect rotation once again. So smart, just utilizing the dashes gets him through the 7th and 8th zone. And as you guys can see, he's still got 1,200 mats. Now here again, I want to talk about Victor again being on a high layer. He's not on one of the lowest layers, because if you're on the lowest layer, like these players down the bottom, you're more likely to get jumped in on by someone that needs a refresh. For example, Fexo, Daria, even Kingos, like one of these players along low ground that probably doesn't have that many mats. So by keeping himself on a higher layer, he just decreases the chance of him being keyed and allows him to just chill in his box and scout what he's going to do next. I want you all to take a quick look at what zone it is. It is the 10th zone. Now, if you remember the opens game, what did Victor do on the 10th zone? Well, he took height. you have to take height in the 10th zone if you want to win. It's the perfect time. So he pops his fizz and he does a little bit of scouting on height through his cone, and then as you guys can see, he commits. He realizes height, freaky dude hasn't got a good claim on height, and he goes to take it. He ramps the guy on height, manages to block him off, and boom, he now has height in the lobby of the finals. This is his chance to get the win. And how does he play it? Well, I'm going to show you guys. Now, there's such a subtle thing that Victor does on height here, but it's so smart, and I want to bring your guys' attention to it. Once he takes height, he always tarps to the right-hand side of the zone. Now, the reason for this is because it allows him a right-hand peek onto the players down below him, where he can then use his AR to pressure stacked players below him, like this guy in metal, for example. If he was to tarp through the middle, it would be a lot harder to get angles down onto players below. He also makes sure that he is always tarping at the front side of the zone, so no one can go front side, for example, and crank up, because then they might be able to take height from him, and that could cost him the game. But Victor has now run out of mats on height, so he's not going to win this game by dropping back in Storm early. There's still another 40 seconds. He can't do that. He knows he must get a refresh, and we see him start to look for that now. So he pops a bit of fizz to make sure that he can get down easily, but this player goes for height, so Victor has now lost height. He tries to chop but realizes it's not a good idea, so now he moves on to looking for someone in a refresh. He spots this player, which is Zenith Gorbor. This is a 30,000 PR player that landed Wrath with him down below. And what does he do? Well, he checks his awareness. It's a wood wall because Gorbor probably doesn't have any hard mats left, and he goes in through the back. He does miss the first pump shot, able to get a bit of AR damage. Replay does unfortunately lag. He cracks him, and then, to be honest, guys, this is some shot under the clutch. He sprays him out, picks up the elim on Gorbor, and is able to get just enough mats to tarp himself in. But now he's back down to 0 mats again. Now, instead of trying to go back into Storm, get the mats, and come back in, he realizes he spots the floppers and he knows what he must do. Here, he must start popping his medkits, stays as far in the corner as he can to get as many ticks up as he can before dropping back into zone, and then he sees the extra hills here. So as you guys can see, he starts to pop the medkits and walk towards the other hills because he knows he has floppers, he picks up the floppers, he can win this game from here. And now, combining the medkits and floppers, which he picked up from Gorbor in the final part of this game, he drops back into the build, is a 1v1 heal off, and I'm not going to lie, I don't even think Victor himself realizes just how close he was to dying in this game. As you guys can see, the heal off goes, Snails starts to come up, Snails pickaxes the wall, but cannot get the shot off in time and goes down to Storm, and Victor gets the victory royale. All courtesy of the heals, which he picked up from Gorbor. He had to get that refresh, he jumped in, got the refresh, and won the game as a result. GG's Victor, bro. So there we have it. That's all I have for you guys in today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, please do drop a like and subscribe to see much more content just like this. Peace out from me.